This is Jared.
This is Kills.
And we're here with another episode of Bikini Bottom Banter. And this week, we both had the same reaction when we saw it. Another classic in the bag.
Yes, sir.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy and the episode Pickles. So we'll start off with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. So, episode starts off with Patrick and SpongeBob watching Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Their two favorite superheroes, and it's clearly some older classic episodes. And they annoy Squidward to the point that he's just like, listen, if you want to see the real Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy and what they're all about, go on down to the Bikini Bottom, residential, retirement home.
Yep. Which is crazy.
Exactly, that they have that.
No, just the fact that they're there. They're real heroes.
Heroes, and they did that. The only human beings in the sea. I'm just like, what the heck?
Oh, they are the only human beings. Wow.
And we'll talk about that, too, because it's just there's one thing that they do for Mermaid Man versus Barnacle Boy, and I'm just like, But it's the starfish nose. I'm just like, they really made it so that he could breathe, but then, Barnacle Boy's nose is just so big that it's just how is he living under the sea? I actually had that in my notes as a theory. We'll talk about it. So it gets to a point where Patrick and SpongeBob are trying to get them out of retirement. They're constantly harassing them, and it leads to them finally breaking, the mold and saying, "Listen, we got to get out of retirement because these two kids are being annoying." Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we'll start since we already did the theme. So I actually had that in my notes. And back when I was a kid, I thought that too. For some reason, when I saw Barnacle Boy, he just looked like, if Squidward was a human.
Dang.
Think about that for a minute.
That's what I'm saying. What if they kind of related?
I don't know.
They're related.
That'd be crazy.
Because think about it. They both got the big old noses, the round head, and they're both grumpy.
So there was one episode, I remember when I first saw this. It's a season 3 episode of SpongeBob where Squidward and Barnacle Boy, I think this is Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy part 4 when he has the belt. And there's a scene where him and Squidward kind of face off. He's like, "Who you calling Big Nose, Big Nose?" And they're going back and forth. That was my dream as a kid. I'm like, they did it.
Yeah,
they actually put them together.
That's crazy.
Right? All right, so we'll start off with you, Keel. So,
all right,
what notes do you have from this episode? Because I'm going to definitely dive deep into what this is inspired, and I don't want to take up too much time. So,
okay, I mean, that was just a funny episode. I said that Plankton was my favorite character, but I think Mermaid and Barnacle Boy are the best characters in the show. Just because they're so funny, and I think it's an interesting premise, to put in a show.
Yeah.
If you watch the first episodes of SpongeBob or whatever, you wouldn't even expect that they have superheroes in it.
Right.
They're human.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I would wonder why they chose to make them human
versus fish.
Right, versus fish or some type of other, And then, later on you see that there's a whole world. There's heroes and villains in this universe. So it's kind of weird.
So I think I have a theory for why they did that. So, and this is also it's an introduction. So Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, if for any of our viewers that don't know, and there's actually a lot of cartoons back in the day that were based off this, is based off of the 1966 Batman series with Adam West and Burt Ward. And regardless of how any Batman fan or superhero fan feels about that show, how campy and cheesy it is, it did open up the door for that cliche comic, that pow, bam, wham.
Yeah, very influential, yes.
Exactly. So even if you don't Batman's dark, it's you have to respect that when that came out, it basically was the first introductory to pop culture and superheroes in that respect. So with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, it's clearly supposed to be Mermaid Man is Batman, Barnacle Boy is Robin. And even when you get into like their villains, you have so many recurring villains like the Dirty Bubble, Man Ray.
The Dirty Bubble is so funny.
That's
such a funny
fan.
character.
I love Man Ray.
I mean, like Man Ray is funny too, but just like the fact that like they just had an actual bubble. The brain to make a bubble. The Dirty Bubble is hilarious.
I'm telling you, it's pretty crazy. But you know, it's in that vein. So like even in this episode of SpongeBob, like when they take out a supervillain, and they still use the pow wham, even in the end of the episode when they're in retirement, but it's the new adventures of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. It's like pick up phone, sit, ring. It's just like, wow, they're really keeping that vibe of what the classic 66 Batman was. Mm-hmm. And funny enough, I was saying this, there's one clip in the retirement home, because we're going to get into jokes. It's not a joke, but I'm like, this was the first seed planted. When Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are eating their meatloaf with potatoes and broccoli, he sits down and he's like, oh, like the boy needs his vitamins, and it's just like, oh, like start shouting at the boy, and he just goes, would you stop calling me boy?
Yeah, it's
a foreshadowing, because when you get to part 5 and he turns on him, it's like the seed was planted there. I'm literally going to be looking at that anytime we see Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. How many times he calls him boy before he gets fed up?
Yeah.
I love part 5.
Yeah, he definitely... That's a classic episode. I can't wait to get to that. Yeah. But no, he definitely treats him like a kid, just because, like, I mean, he's always been a kid to him, basically. Yep. So, I mean, yeah, I guess it gets annoying when you get older, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. And you know, it's kind of cool. Another thing my wife mentioned is when they're trying to get them out of retirement, SpongeBob has a southern accent. And it's like, so is there a south part of Bikini Bottom?
Or it's like, no, but wait. What if, because Sandy is the only woman
Texan
that, well, technically woman at this point, that SpongeBob interacts with. Mm-hmm. So SpongeBob dressed like a woman, and then what's it called? He was just like, okay, how do I sound like a woman?
Oh, so he went to Sandy.
So he's like, okay, I'll just talk like Sandy because Sandy's a girl. That's my thought.
That's a good theory, and I like that.
Yeah, I came with that off the dome.
All right, Keels.
Off the tree dome.
I love that, because I was gonna say from last week's episode when they the pizza delivery episode, when they're like, oh, like where's town? Where Moss points to town, I'm like, maybe that's the South Bikini Bottom. I don't know, but I actually like that theory more. I like that theory
random
more.
Town was the southern part of. That's funny.
I love that theory more, because that would make sense from a character standpoint. Also, like, I mean, SpongeBob to this point hasn't really met a lot of females in Bikini Bottom.
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
So it's like,
dang, I don't even know where that came from.
That's
I'm patting myself on the back.
Brain on Keels.
Hey, I'm patting myself on the back on that one.
I agree. All right.
But yeah, Barnacle Boy was not for the BS.
Oh,
he was angry. He was like, I just want to be left alone.
Just
eat
like
my
Squidward.
Literally, just eat my little Brussels sprouts or whatever. Like, do not bother me. I'm trying to watch TV.
Yep.
Hilarious, man.
All right, so this is going to be a tough one. Favorite joke. There's so many in this episode. I know
there's so many.
There could be a runner-up. I have a runner-up, but
because I'm sure we got a few of the same.
100%.
I'm sure we do. Because honestly, this whole episode, man,
it's filled with them.
Literally, it is.
You can go. What is your? Because mine. I don't know.
I wrote a few down, and then I'm still thinking about the episode. Like, there's a lot.
All right.
Just like the small stuff, like, oh, make sure you put some right for my young ward.
Damn.
He needs his vitamins. He's like, here you go.
A carrot-looking fish is just like, here you go.
Right,
son.
gives him one extra piece of broccoli or Brussels sprouts or whatever.
Yo. Well, it's funny you say that because, like you said, the little things. My runner-up joke is the orange fish when, like, he's just shaking his head in disappointment when Mermaid Man is, like, freaking out. You know, the orange fish with the glasses, he's just like,
oh, yeah.
Shaking his head. Like,
he's like, he starts sucking on the glass, and then the old fish picks his plate up. He's like, let me get away from this dude, man.
Exactly. Like, the background fish, all right, the background fish make it.
They're funny.
The old, it's not me, old coot.
That's my absolute favorite.
That's me.
He's like, stop shouting, I'm napping. It's not me, old coot.
Yes,
and all
that's
the other
me.
fish,
I'm over here.
All the other fish are like, yeah, that's me.
The one that's in the distance that goes, I'm over here. How sad is his life? He said, I'm over here. Yo, he said, I'm done. Yo.
What's another one? They're sitting in the rocking chairs and they're like, up and away.
Well, funny enough, that's the thing I would change. There was like here's why. I was looking at it. It looked weird. When he was saying up, and away.
Yeah.
I saw Barnacle Boy's mouth, and it was like he was mouthing it. And he was like up, and then he just stopped and was still rocking. And I'm like, I don't know, there's something weird about it.
Like an animation issue?
Yeah. And I'm just like, I would change that. Plus, it also detracts from his character because, like, you know, Barnacle Boy is very like, I don't want to be bothered. I'm not going to go into the shenanigans of what Mermaid Man is doing. Because Mermaid Man is very in the mindset of, he still has that superhero energy. Barnacle Boy's like, listen, we're retired. Like, cool.
Right, we're literally like...
So
he's like, bro, we're in a nursing home.
Exactly. So I feel like his face should have just been like annoyed, sleepy, something. Not him with his jaw out like, I'm like, what the heck? So that's the one thing I would change. Still a funny joke, but I would for sure change it.
I would change... I don't think I would change anything about the episode per se. I think I would have liked, I don't know, just like, I guess like something for that. Like maybe a mini episode or whatever with them like as they're young.
Oh, like the series.
Just like a little extra something. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
Just to like hammer fact the home, like, okay, who are these two people? How did they become
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy?
Right, where they get their powers from and stuff like that. Nothing too deep, but like I guess like an origin story type thing.
So I know, and I only know this because again, throwing on episodes from in the later episodes. See, that's why I'm really excited to get to the later seasons because apparently there's an episode I threw it on for my daughter once where. It's straight up like the origin of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
Oh, so they do that in later episodes.
They do it in later episodes. Okay. So that's why I'm like, this is so, like the lore of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. I feel like is my favorite.
Okay, perfect.
And
because like they showed like a quick little glimpse of them watching them on TV, and it just would have been nice to be like, okay, like, and also like what happened. I guess not what happened. They just got old.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, like, they got old. And, you know, again, it goes back to that 66 Batman series. Like, listen, if you go back and watch those older episodes of 66 Batman, they never, as far as I know, they never did, like, an origin story for Batman. They never did, like, an origin story for the villains.
Yeah.
It was legit, like, here's the Joker, here's the Riddler.
Yeah, I mean, back in the days, it wasn't that deep.
And I think that's why they did that.
Okay.
I really feel like that's why, because we're so used to things having origin stories now.
Right.
But, like, legit back then, maybe in the dialogue, a character might say, yeah, back when I was, like, doing so-and-so.
And now it's a fight.
That was enough!
for the whole series.
That was enough.
Yeah,
but in this, they said, listen, this is Mermaid Man, this is Barnacle Boy, and then through the episodes, you got to know the villains, you got to know their origin, you got to know their powers. They have certain powers where, like, they were making water balls and everything, throwing it, but then they can telepathically, like, communicate with the fish.
Yeah. That was another favorite joke of mine as well.
Yo.
When he summons the
Sea
other
creatures?
sea creatures unite. Bro, when the first one hits like the orange fish, he's like, what?
He's like, what am I doing?
He just gets up and walks.
I was about to watch Bingo or play Bingo and watch Jeopardy. I was about to watch Wheel of Fortune. What's going on?
Oh my god! It interrupted them in the middle of their stories.
Yo,
that is
imagine
hilarious.
being a fish. You're about to go to the bathroom and you get summoned by Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. I just want to go to the bathroom.
Right? He comes 10 minutes later.
Exactly.
Yo, a couple questions now that we're talking about it. One. Can that work on any fish, like the young fish?
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, can that work on Squidward? Can that work on Mr. Crab?
I would assume.
You know what I mean? Can that work on the other fish in the universe?
Maybe they, see, and that's the thing. I'm very native to the first, I'm going to say, 6 episodes of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, because there's multiple parts. I don't know how far they go out, but
I'm sure there's a lot.
Right, and
with the many seasons, I know they gotta have more.
Yeah, they for sure have more, but I don't think he's ever, at least in the 5 I for sure know, and the 6th one was when they did the movie, like when they were trying to make the movie. Mm-hmm. As far as I know, they never did the controlling sea creatures with like any other creature. But you know what? You never know.
Or maybe were they I don't know, part of a team back in the days when they was young? Yeah, maybe that's why it worked.
Well, that goes back to part 5. What was it? The super acquaintances or whatever? The Quipster! Captain Magma! Crap. Now you want to see me run to that mountain? You want to see me do it again?
Hold on. We can't jump on.
Not yet.
So classic. Okay.
So actually, funny enough, in the costume, real quick, that was my favorite joke.
Which one?
When Patrick, it's just that subtlety of just you hear the bite mark, and they have the 2 donuts as their rings.
Yeah.
And like every time they do it, there's more of the donut that's missing. You just hear the bite mark in the background, and just reunite.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious. All
right. My second question is,
all right, let's hear it.
What is their relationship?
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy?
Like, are they just like mentor and mentee? Are they father and son, grandpa and grandson?
I'm assuming.
You know what I mean? Well, like, what are they?
I think they're just colleagues. It's very similar to Batman and Robin. They're just.
But what was the age difference between them? And then, like, again, like, how did they come about to be partners? You know what I mean?
You have to wait for that origin episode.
Yeah, true.
But it looks like, again, from the TV show, like that Patrick and SpongeBob were watching, that Mermaid Man is for sure a man. So, like, I'm going to say he's probably at least 30.
Okay.
If not, like, late 20s,
yeah, probably
30.
I'll say 30s.
But I would say that Barnacle Boy is a teenager.
Had to be. If we're going off of how it used to be back, what's it called? The 1966 Batman.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's okay.
Robin was very Wallabin Webster, like Wallabin Wonder Batman. Like he was for sure like a teenager.
That is a crazy line.
He said it. Holy rusted metal, Batman. Like that was legit what he sounded like. But also, I just thought of this. Maybe the reason why Mermaid Man is acting the way he is versus Barnacle Boy, who's very stoic, grumpy, things like that, like I'm just trying to retire, is because Mermaid Man has Alzheimer's.
Hold on.
And he's getting close to the end. Versus Barnacle Boy, who's younger than him, who's
he's
just
still
okay.
Yeah. Oh, and that's why he's so protective of him.
Yeah.
Oh,
it makes sense.
It makes sense, and it is kind of evident.
That's why I said, like, I don't know.
I just thought of a third question.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, so they're superheroes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But are they real
superheroes?
Because it's like, are they real Well, yeah, they're real superheroes.
They're for sure real superheroes.
But it's like, but who are they though?
Oh, like because it was a show within a show,
right? It's like they got a TV show, but then it's like they're real superheroes.
Well, I think it's established, especially because of their villains. I know in the next episode that they're in, there's the Atomic Flounder, who actually does have atomic breath. The Dirty Bubble, who clearly has powers.
Yeah, is that the second?
That's the second part.
Was
you
it
see Atomic Flounder.
Was it every villain is limits?
Yeah, like, but they have real powers, so it's like,
dang. Well, yeah. Then what is this world?
Bikini Bottom just said, "Oh, you're a superhero. You have superpowers. We have a job for you. Do this TV show."
It's like, what's her name? It's like South Park in a way.
How so?
Because it's just like, have you ever seen South Park?
I'll be honest with you, and for the viewers too. I know he killed Kenny, but I'm not big on South Park. I just
okay. Well, just like in the beginning seasons of South Park, we were children. We really weren't allowed to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on. It, like, there would be robots, there would be aliens and things like that. So it kind of makes sense then that anything can happen, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just like an open world.
It's like Family Guy. I think that, or The Simpsons. Like, it's just like, you think South Park is more extreme?
Yes.
All right.
Because just for the fact that they can get away with a lot more.
I mean, you know what? I might watch an episode.
But The Simpsons is kind of crazy, though.
I might watch an episode of South Park tonight. Because it's always been one of those shows where it's like, I never really got into, like, the nitty-gritty of it, but I know certain things in it.
Yeah. Yeah, you should check it out.
It makes, I don't know. When I try watching, I'm just like, All right.
Man. We got to get to the meme-worthy moment.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We already know what this meme-worthy moment is.
For sure.
Email! Yo. Would you please stop doing that? Email.
Yo, he went crazy.
For no reason.
He went crazy.
He was going in.
What? Yo, he literally snapped back into reality. He was like, what? Email!
He was going in for no reason.
Yo, he like jumped on a barnacle plant and hung up on upside down. He was running around.
Yo, at the end, he's like, "Where is it? There it is."
Yeah, and then he was ready. He was like, "I gotta kill the evil."
But that's also another recurring thing in these episodes. Whenever you say something's evil, he's like, "Evil." Yeah. Every villain is Lemon, otherwise known as evil.
Yo.
I'm telling you that come on, meme worthy. That's not even a debate, Keels.
Not a debate. I can't even think of
what other thing.
I can't even think of another.
Nothing beats it.
Yeah.
All right.
Water
Any final thoughts before we get into the next classic?
Nah, man. I literally think they're the best characters, and literally that whole section of the show, like with the villains and stuff. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Nice. All
right. Another favorite. This is a family favorite.
All right. So man. Pickles.
Yes.
So SpongeBob is doing his thing at the Krusty Krab, and suddenly he gets I guess an enemy that he had that we never explained, no beef or anything. Yeah. But Bubble Bass. We'll get into the weeds of it. We'll get into the nitty gritty.
Bubble, that's a classic character because he really came out of nowhere.
Facts, and we'll actually talk about that because that's something that I'm like borderline changing. But regardless, so he orders a Krabby Patty. SpongeBob makes him the Krabby Patty. He says there's no pickles on it, and he just has this moment where he stops, reflects on like, oh, I failed. And now he can't make a Krabby Patty. Yep. It gets even worse because then it starts affecting how he sleeps. It starts affecting how he walks home, affects his day-to-day life, and he's just so traumatized from this event.
His house is just
messed up. It's just destroyed. Yeah. He's over here hanging up toast on the wall, nailing it in. And Squidward has to pick up the pace for SpongeBob at the Krusty Krab. God. He fails miserably, so Mr. Krabs is like, listen, I gotta get me boy back to get that money.
Yeah.
So at that point, he goes to help SpongeBob train so he can, get back at it again. Gets his groove back. How SpongeBob got his groove back
instead of Stella.
Hilarious. And then at that point, you find out the classic line. The pickles were under his tongue the whole time.
He was holding them under his tongue.
And there's the pickles from last time, too. And there's my car keys. And there's my ride.
Wait, hold on. I feel like we got to describe Bubble Bass.
Okay, so Bubble Bass...
Just in case nobody knows who he is.
So, if you don't know who he is, Squidward kind of says it straight up. The first shot you see is the belly, and Squidward's like, what do you want, Tiny? A small salad?
Yo. Yo. Squidward was on one that episode.
He was
He was on one. That's crazy.
He hated everybody.
Yeah.
But Bubble Bass is essentially this big, overweight fish, belly out, looking like Winnie the Pooh. Has bad, hair under him. He's disgusting. He's wheezing with his glasses. It's just, he is...
Very, very, a more condescending version of comic book guy.
From Powerpuff Girls?
No, comic book guy in Simpsons.
Oh, in Simpsons? 100%.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because he reminded me of that dude from the one episode of Powerpuff Girls that was collecting everything.
Yo, him. Wait, wasn't he he was the comic book man.
He was the collector.
Like that.
But it looked like a fish version.
The collector, you're right. Yep. You're right.
He looked like, it's cliche early 2000s, when they said a nerd. It's
nerdy type, fat, shirt doesn't fit like that, and his belly hanging out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know what the crazy thing is about
But he's a jerk. It was just crazy, but he's a jerk.
He's a complete asshole, for sure. Yeah. But the crazy thing about Bubble Bass that I was saying that we were talking about this. What's the beef between him and SpongeBob?
And that was what I would change about the episode.
Explaining,
just give a little something
backstory,
or just who he is. Is he a food critic? Because I thought he was a food critic.
Nah, he legit comes in here. But when he comes in, they have beef. There's something that happened because he's Bubble Bass, Square
and people know him too.
Over here, yeah,
and people know him. So it would have been nice if they just would have, Mr. Krabs would have he's the. I mean, they do kind of. They he's the pickiest eater in Bikini Bottom, I guess.
I guess.
And he gained a reputation for it.
But he also runs away, I don't know. I just feel with Bubble Bass, it's crazy because at least in the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob, I know the back of my hand. The 4th season, we're kind of getting into but Bubble Bass wasn't a major character. After this episode, you see him once in the fun episode, and then after that, you never see this dude again in the first 3 seasons. He went under the radar.
Yeah, I wonder if they ever give him a.
I think they do.
Give him a whole episode.
They give him another whole episode where I think throwing it on for my daughter, where he has SpongeBob and Patrick clean his basement or something. But he keeps that same energy where he's a jerk.
Okay.
But,
okay.
Again, it's just they never really got into his character. It would have been nice if they did. Even with Plankton. I think that's a classic thing. He's an antagonist in SpongeBob. But, they at least established in his episode, he's trying to get the Krabby Patty secret formula. He hates Mr. Krabs because, he's the business right next door. It was an established universe. Bubble Bass never got that treatment.
You know what?
Never got it.
I feel like SpongeBob could have had more antagonists, besides the super villains and stuff like
that. And Plankton, because
Plankton. I mean, he's on Plankton's level. He's just a regular villain, citizen of Bikini Bottom, but he's just doing bad stuff.
There might be some more. I feel like there's more in the later seasons. They're kind of sprinkled.
Maybe for sure. The only ones I can think of as of right now is when they go to Karate Island.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But that's kind of a one-off episode, if I remember correctly.
It is. They don't show his character again.
But yeah, that's why I wish they would have established what the dynamic was between Bubble Bass and Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob and stuff, so we can at least see him again. You know what I mean? Is he? Does he feel some type of way about the Krusty Krab or just restaurants in general? He's just trying to swindle,
he might be just a swindler.
Yeah.
And would you consider, because there are some episodes where Squidward kind of is an antagonist in some episodes to SpongeBob. But at the end of the day, he's his friend more than... And I wouldn't even say friend. He's like a coworker that's also his neighbor, and he tolerates him.
Yeah.
But it actually segues into the question that we were both asking each other. Why doesn't Squidward just quit?
Literally.
Yo.
You're that mad and that pissed off, that angry, fed up. Just quit.
I have a theory, though. I feel like the only reason why he's at the Krusty Krab is nobody else will hire him. And he's probably... I feel like that's why. Nobody else will hire him. It's easy work. He doesn't... Think about how many episodes Squidward is just taking orders and reading that book.
Yeah.
Like, at the cash register.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, you don't want to work, my dude.
Dang.
So, this is what happens. Yo.
This is what I think.
Say? Let's hear it.
I just... He been there too long, and then the money's good. So it's like, why go?
Why leave?
He got a whole crib.
But is Mr.
He has a whole crib.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
He probably, you're right. Squidward is probably making bank because SpongeBob's new. So he's gonna obviously, because of the way that just the workforce works, like Squidward is, gonna get seniority over things, and he's gonna get the higher pay just because he's been there longer.
Right.
But it's also established that SpongeBob makes like dirt money.
Right.
So like,
cause he been there since in another episode he been there since the 70s with
the
Mr. Krabs and the other fry cook. Right.
Squidward is stealing Miss SpongeBob's money.
Yeah. or
ear.
just Mr. Krabs is just like, I'm already paying Squidward.
Right.
So.
And he's like, SpongeBob, you get the chum change.
Literally.
That's
chum change?
The chum change.
Hilarious.
You get the scraps.
Chum change is hilarious.
I'm telling you,
I see what you did there.
Yep. See?
I see what you did there.
All right. And favorite joke, yo.
Oh, my God. I got a lot. Let me, you go.
Do you have any salt? No. Could you check?
He said no.
No, or he says like, we're out. It's like, can I have any salt? We're out.
Bro,
Could you check?
He did not leave the
He didn't leave
cash register.
He stared right in his face.
And he said, no. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's how you know he's got seniority. You would have been fired.
The fish
right
face,
there.
He looked. You should have saw his eyes when he was like, "Could you check?"
He was heated.
He was begging. He
was heated. First off, why do you need extra salt in the first place?
True.
Second, but that's so funny.
Yo.
And then the bluefish in the beginning, he was like, I don't know what to order. Blah, blah, blah.
I'll take.
He was like
a Krabby Patty.
And like, do you plan on ordering today?
Exactly.
Yo, like, bro, I'm trying to order. Chill.
Every customer with extra onions daring today, aren't we?
Yo, he was going
in. He said, "You ain't kissing anybody today, fish."
Yo,
get your onions.
Bubble Bass came out of nowhere with that order.
Yo.
What did he say? I want a triple patty deluxe and make it sweet.
Sweet. Full of right animal side. Burn it and let it swim.
And extra pickles or whatever he said.
We serve food here.
That is one of my favorite jokes in general. We serve food here, sir.
Yo, the way that Bubble Bass just
like
he
this?
swung Squidward, he said,
bro.
Ah!
But again, it's like, yo, who is this guy if he's that comfortable doing that?
That's what I'm saying.
He pushed him out the way the first time. He threw him out the way the second time.
Yup.
Bro, he was wilding. Another one was the guarantee sign.
That's my worthy moment.
You think so? No way. Okay, hold on. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay. Bro, when Squidward is left alone in the Krusty Krab, because Mr. Krabs is trying to help SpongeBob like get his stuff together and like get him back to come to work. Bro, he burnt all the food.
He burnt my Krabby Patty.
He burnt my fries.
He burnt my shake.
He burnt my shake. First off, how do you burn a shake?
I had that as my backup joke.
Bro.
How do you burn a shake?
And why would you try and drink out of it if it's burnt?
The straw was a crisp. I'm like, what are you even sucking? Like, it's just... This man said, getting the charcoal out of there, he's like...
Yo, like, what you doing? The cup is burnt, is visibly burnt.
Yo,
to a crisp.
Everything this man touched.
Literally, like, did you see the fries? They look like pieces of coal.
Legit. That's why when the crowd at the end is like, and 3 cheers for Squidward, hip hip, boo. Hip hip, boo.
And then what's another one? Oh my God, when they finally figure out that Bubble Bass is hiding the pickles under his tongue. Bro, when they figure out that it was him the whole time, they're like, and there's my car keys. And there's my ride.
The crazy thing is, okay, because we obviously established when like Mr. Krabs goes over to SpongeBob's house to train him, it's been like at least a week. Because they did the day-night transition and everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bubble Bass is nasty. He had these pickles under his tongue for like over a week.
Why didn't he eat them?
Exactly,
Yo, if you was that hungry, see, that's why, like, and that was something that I would change. Like, just what's the dynamic? And then what is your motive here? Like, what are you doing here?
I guess he's just trying to get a free meal. That has to be it. Because he's like...
Oh, yeah.
He's trying to get a free meal.
Yeah, he's one of those... He's a life hack guy. But the swindle type.
Hey.
The life hack. Steal free food.
He's trying to finagle the system.
Yo, he definitely trying to
finesse the system.
He definitely trying to finesse for sure. Bro, that's... Oh, God, it's such a good
episode. Why else would he have it? Like, I'm just like, damn. Oh, yeah. Another positive thing I'll say. Mm-hmm. I think this is a really good episode where, like, you have SpongeBob that's, like, obviously doubting himself.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good message, you know, for kids and everything to be like, okay, well, if you doubt yourself, you can, like, when you have low confidence or something, like, you can always bring yourself back up and always have faith in yourself and things like that. Mm. I don't mean to sound like a Saturday and after school special.
Yeah, you definitely. I didn't see that in this episode, so I'm gonna let you.
Really?
Know. I didn't.
Nah, like when he was for sure, like he was definitely messing up. But I mean, like when he made because that's my like thing I would change. Where he's like, it's a minor change. Where he's like, I'm not gonna make a double Krabby Patty with the works. I'm like, bro, there's one patty on there. They ain't a double patty. You're still all kinds of messed up. You need to go back to training. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, I just thought it was a nice little, it's a funny episode, but it also had a nice little message in there. So I'm like, all right, you know, look at SpongeBob trying.
I mean, that would have been cool if they just literally would have just flat out said it, like, at the end, like, they're like, this is SpongeBob.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Or if they would have like made it funny. I don't know. The last time SpongeBob tried doing that was when Sandy and Rip Pants. If your song is true, you know, if you don't believe in me, just be yourself. Nah, it's okay. You don't have to say it. Okay, you're right. You
don't have to say it. Let's always go back to that.
You're right. That is cheesy. That was very cheesy.
Just be yourself.
That was very cheesy.
Ew.
Yeah.
Okay, Sandy, this is why you're not in this episode. You just sit on yourself.
Buddy. Just be yourself.
You want to be my friend? You don't want to be my friend? Just be yourself.
Meme-worthy moment. Go ahead. So you say...
I said the money back guarantee thing.
No way.
I've seen that so many times.
Bro, no way.
Well, people will change it. So, like, it'll be like the Krusty Krab menu, but then you put whatever message in like there where you zoom in.
Yeah.
Like in this one, okay, so here's the premise. And I'm also, this ties back to like a thing as a kid too, where I'm like, okay. So, Bubble Bass, because the pickles were like not on the patty, he's like, I believe you owe me $2. $2! Your guarantee. Yeah. He points out to Mr. Krabs in the tiniest print. This thing can't even be seen on a microscope.
To the point where, like, why even have that as a rule anyway?
This thing is a dot. It's like, ooh, it's a piece of matter. Like,
you have to get it like a freaking
triple microscope,
industry telescope, microscope to look at it.
And this thing says money back guarantee. He hid that real nice. Now he's like, okay, like he takes the $2.
So it tells us Krabby Patties are worth $2.
Right. Well, right now with inflation, who knows? But this is the one thing as a kid where I was just
$8.
like, wait a minute, that's a better deal. So as
$7 now.
For real.
$8.
Crabby. Wait till
and don't get a double.
Wait till you
$11.96.
Wait till you get to the movie when he finds out Neptune's coming. $400 for a Krabby Patty with cheese, Squidward with cheese. I'm like, damn.
I can't wait for that. The Neptune episode? No, the Neptune episode.
Oh, yeah, that's another good one. But I was saying that as a kid, when Mr. Krabs is like, how about a free glass of water? A dozen free glasses of water. I'll even put ice on it. I thought as a kid, wait a minute.
Right, water is free.
No, I didn't know. So this was
you didn't know it was free?
I didn't know. When you go to a restaurant, it's for free. So I'm like, wait a minute. Hold on, let's think about this. 12 free drinks? That sounds better than a Krabby Patty. And then as an adult, I'm like, yo, water's for free. Literally. So I'm just like...
And it's water.
Wow.
Like,
with ice. He said, I'll even put ice in it.
Right, like you gotta eat if you went to the Krabby Patty for some food.
Oh, the Krusty Krab. Yeah.
The Krusty Krab for
That's
food.
what I'm saying. I'm like, dang, they really...
Look, said I'll even put ice in it.
No, $2. No, yo, he was
right, and you know they giving them tap water.
Oh yeah,
tap water for sure.
Here's a real question: would you ever eat at the Krusty Krab? Like, knowing Mr. Krabs and how cheap he is, would you actually ever eat there?
I think I would because you see SpongeBob is so popular. Like the other fish was so hyped that he came back.
Yeah.
And there's always people there, so the food gotta be good.
The food has to be good, but I feel like, what is it, when we get to the Pretty Patty episode, nobody goes to the restaurant for atmosphere. I'm just like...
that's so funny.
Like, what? Yes.
But it's funny because
clean your bathrooms.
That's an atmospheric restaurant.
Yeah. I mean, it's more of like the...
what is the shape? What is the shape of a Krusty Krab?
It's a lobster trap.
Okay.
It's a lobster trap.
I don't think I've ever seen a lobster trap like that.
It's a lot. So if you look at the Krusty Krab, it's in the form of a lobster trap, and then the sign is a seashell. It's a clam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why it's like
Why isn't it
Why is what?
Why isn't it what's the name? A crab.
A crab? I mean, if they know the business owners, Mr. Krabs, it's just like, it makes sense.
What is the symbolism of the seashell? What does that represent? Because that's on a few stuff, isn't it, in the show?
It's on the Bikini Bottom news thing. It's like, it's in a couple places, but I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of like the
is it like
thing.
the Keystone when it comes to Pennsylvania?
Ooh, maybe. What's Bikini? That reminds me. So. We got a comment from whatchamacallit. What was it that DeVille said about the trash that's in Bikini Bottom? Yeah, here it is. All right, and shout out to also Ben Tecular fans on TikTok. So if you also follow us,
please.
The houses in Bikini Bottoms are car mufflers that fell into the ocean due to pollution. And I'm like, so when it comes to this lobster trap that fell down, or maybe some of the seashells that came, seashells are naturally in the sand. I don't know.
What? Did Bikini Bottom come about from just like stuff that fell from the...
Oh, you never heard about the theory in Bikini Bottom?
No.
So there's a theory that was going on, like, I'm going to say somebody put this together like mid-2000s or something, back when the internet was like hype and Vines were hype and everything.
Okay.
And basically, if you look, the atomic bomb footage that they use in SpongeBob, that was from Hiroshima. And they were saying that when they first tested the A-bomb, it was in an area that was called like...
The atoll?
Yeah, it was something. It was called like...
But yeah, the Bikini Atoll. Yeah.
Okay, the Bikini Atoll. So they were saying that that's actually Bikini Bottom, and when that nuclear bomb went off, basically it made all the sea creatures alive. And it's a cool theory.
Okay, I didn't hear that last part. I do remember hearing like the first part of it. I don't remember.
That's why all the sea creatures looks like SpongeBob, for example.
Oh,
he's a sea sponge, looks different. Why they're all talking and everything. Why they have subconscious here's a good example. You know how the creatures in Bikini Bottom, they talk like normal human beings. They have life. They wear clothes, things like that. Go to an area like Rock Bottom, and you have some sea creatures that are like that talk normally, but then you have some sea creatures where they just are sea creatures. Oh, you see? Doesn't it make sense? It's just
it does. Wow, that's another episode I can't wait to get to.
And I feel like there are some episodes of SpongeBob where I feel like they have some characters that just
don't say nothing.
Don't say anything. They're fish,
but they're not real fish. You know what I mean? They're walking around, exactly. They're looking around and talking. They're still talking, but it's
they're in that in between stage of evolution. They're just
okay,
right,
okay,
right,
yeah. Okay, hold on. I gotta fight you on this, man.
All right, let's hear it.
The meme-worthy moment in Pickles is "Boo, you stink."
Boo, you stink.
Yes, or still no pickles. But I think it's "Boo, you stink."
I've seen "Still No Pickles" for sure thrown in there.
Come on, man.
I don't know, man. It's tough. Look, you can have that as your meme-worthy moment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it at the money-back guarantee.
Yeah.
I for sure have seen people customize that so it says something else.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm and I also feel like it's funny. How funny is it, when you look at a venue and you have to zoom in? They spent time zooming in on that, too. They were "Boo, you stink." I mean, that's background character number 5.
But it was classic. It even pops up again in another episode, I think.
It does. I think it's the Neptune episode when he's making all the crab, when he's making the burgers of the crab. Yeah. I don't think it's an actual Krabby Patty, or it might be. But he's making all the burgers and everything, and SpongeBob makes his one.
Yeah.
And they try it, and they're like, "Boo, you stink!" I'm just wow, okay.
That's funny.
Any final thoughts?
Shout out to Bubble Bass, man. He was such a funny character.
Or justice for Bubble Bass. Give
him
a backstory.
For real. Free Bubble Bass for sure. Free Bubble Bass. He didn't deserve to be one and done.
That's what I'm saying. And even the episode where it's fun. It's the episode fun where he doesn't talk. He's in there.
Right.
And he doesn't talk. And I'm just wow, this is the shafted character.
What's that term for, it's a video game term for a character? What is it?
An NPC or non-playable character, yeah.
I mean, no, but that is funny. He definitely did turn into an NPC, but it's when a character is so good and then because the character is so powerful or I guess so prevalent over the other characters, they just dumb down all of its abilities.
I don't know. I'm not a big gamer, so... Look it up real quick.
I'll look it up. Do you have any thoughts on the episode?
I do consider Pickles a classic. It's a staple. Again, you can't go wrong with season 1 SpongeBob. I feel like it can be enjoyed by multiple ages, generations, and overall, again, even though it sounds a little sappy, it has a good message. But the jokes in these 2 episodes, both of them, they're so solid. I feel like you can legit show. This is an episode where it's similar to when we watch Plankton. This is an episode where if you want to know about SpongeBob's universe and things like that, this is a staple. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, and the atmosphere of the Krusty Krab with Pickles, and even that dynamic, it's solid. So another classic. You have that term?
The word is nerfed.
Nerfed. Okay.
Nerfed, yeah.
I feel like I've heard that before. Again, I'm not a gamer.
Yeah.
But, okay. So, nerf. So, you feel like Bubble Bass is the nerf of the...
Yeah, because, Pickles is a classic episode.
100%.
And, yeah, just like you said, after that, it was over with.
That's the crazy... I know that, again, he appears...
He had, one funny scene for the fun episode, and that's it.
I wouldn't even call it a funny scene.
That was funny when he sat on sat on plankton.
He sat on plankton, shook his little booty, and then
He did.
SpongeBob threw like a thing of popcorn and he ran. And I'm like, bro, like really? Like you're that desperate for some popcorn?
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I know for a fact I
wonder if he paid for that popcorn.
Yo, he said, I think this popcorn is a little stale.
Right, just to get it for free? Oh my God. Yo, what happened to those people?
Yo, this man probably took an empty bucket out of the trash can, picked up the pieces of popcorn off the floor, and said, this popcorn is stale. I'd like a new one, please.
Yo, what happened to those type of people?
You know
they always try to get half off on something.
Listen.
Wow.
I'm not... Okay, so as a background, me and Keels used to work at a movie theater.
Lord.
And that's where we first met. And it's good to have a little story, just to share. But
yeah.
I remember this. There was this notorious guy every Saturday who brought the same nasty bucket because you got free refills with the large.
Oh my God.
And he's like, can you give me a free... And this man said, you know what? This bucket's a little could you just get me a new... And he was going strong. He had a good year and a half run until our general manager said, you can't do this anymore.
That is funny.
He's like, what are you talking about?
But
he's so sad.
That's crazy. Definitely a slick way, but
it's a movie theater hack.
It's definitely a movie theater hack.
You learned it here first,
funny.
Folks. But
it's how can you walk in with that?
I mean,
he just walked in with it, but
I remember this on the walkie-talkie. Somebody at door, it was where you got the ticket booth. Hey, the dude is here,
bro. He was getting over too.
You remember him too?
Oh, I remember.
Frumpy-looking guy with the mustache.
He was getting over,
looking like Belle's dad from Beauty and the Beast.
That was Bubble Bass.
That was a live-action Bubble Bass.
And so,
give him some glasses.
And so, this is gonna be definitely off the show. What we're talking about, these type of people don't even exist. I'm sure they do, but back in the days, it was more prevalent to where you can get stuff half off or you can get it for free if there's a defect or stuff like that.
Yup. People don't really do that anymore.
They don't do that no more. Stores don't play that no more. What is it? If you find a can that's bent in half, you can get it half
off.
Yeah, those. I think those are more the mom and pop stores. I feel like.
Yeah, so. I think the last time that worked, we bought a thing of furniture, and I think because there was a chip or mark in it or something, they took off 10% or something.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's not as extreme.
Back in the days, it used to literally be half off. And those people aren't around because stores don't do that no more.
Yeah, because they're we're not trying to get a bubble bass.
Yeah,
get rid of the bubble bass.
I'm going to say I think that's what the type of person Bubble Bass was.
100%. All right. Anything else before we conclude?
Subscribe to the YouTube. Comments. Follow the TikTok.
Follow us on TikTok. Yeah. Everything that the fish is gonna say right here. Listen.
Thanks for tuning in to another fantastic episode of Bikini Bottom Banter. Don't forget to follow Bikini Bottom Banter on TikTok and Instagram for even more content. Subscribe to them on YouTube and Anchor, plus turn on bell notifications to be updated on their latest episode. And if you've got your own jellyfishing stories or favorite SpongeBob moments, remember to share them with us. You might just hear them on our next episode. So until then, stay bubbly, keep smiling, and remember, subscribe to Bikini Bottom Banter to know all the under the sea.